Hey guys, how you doing? I'm here again to talk about the fourth film on the countdown of cigarette burns, which is Duck Soup. Why Duck Soup? Well, because I think that it's a couple of issues. One is that comedies are always classically overlooked. Okay, I've never. It's hard to say why comedies are classically overlooked. I think you would almost have to go back to the idea of theater itself. Because there are two faces to theater. There is the drama and the comedy. Drama and comedy seem to be at opposite ends of each other. Okay? And there are things that blend them, of course. Almost every film nowadays blends them. But it's certainly easy to say that drama and comedy do not coexist peacefully. Now, there are filmmakers who have made a living off using both of them, like the Coen brothers. Fargo is a good example of a blend of both comedy and drama. But for the most part, the two shall never meet. And historically, when we talk about the best films of all time, for some reason, we do not include a lot of comedies, unless those comedies are very quote unquote cerebral, like Doctor Strangelove or Duck Soup, because both of those are considered very cerebral comedies. Duck Soup is a Marx Brothers film. It was actually, I believe, made by the NRA. Believe it or not, tell you how long ago that was. It's an old film. It's not very long. I think it's only about 45 minutes long, but it's fantastic every single way. When you hear the jokes, you'll be like, wow, I've heard that joke before. Yeah, because everybody uses them. Now, Duck Soup itself is a very, very funny movie, but it also talks about a lot of stuff, which is the insanity of politics, which I think we can all relate to at this point in our lives. As we may or may not know, which I'm sure we probably know, elections are coming up. That is a big deal. And I don't care what you believe politically, it doesn't matter. I respect everybody's view unless it's uneducated. If you have an educated view about politics, the only thing I would say is, well, have you thought about this? But if you have a quote unquote dumbass view of politics, and it's very easy to pick up because it's just something that's been regurgitated 50,000 times in the media, it's what's called the talking point. If all you have is talking points, that means that you're following someone else's agenda. Okay? And it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican, that don't make no difference. You're not constructively thinking how you feel about it. You're having somebody else tell you how you feel about it. Now, you may actually feel that about it, but you need to find out why you feel that way. But regardless, Duck Soup is a classic film about politics because Groucho runs a small country known as Fredonia. Hail, hail, Fredonia, land of the free. It is also somewhat of a musical. It is very, very funny. I cannot stress this enough. This is probably one of the few ones in the top five. Well, no, because I said last time that it would be this one and well, there's three of them in the top five that I think are worth watching. If you're not a film expert, number one, which is Wizard of Oz, number four, which is Duck Soup, number five, which is The African Queen. Ah, that smooth Laramie taste. You know, we're not allowed to sell cigarettes on TV anymore. Ah, that smooth Laramie taste. I'm sorry, that's a Simpsons joke. But regardless, I cannot stress to you the idea of of why you should watch this film. You just have to see it because it is a comedy and it's not very long. It's 45 minutes and it will entertain you, even though it is drastically old. I believe it was made in maybe 45, something like that. It's something um, incredibly um, old by film standards of most people. Because when most people say, I like old films, they mean literally 5 years ago. Okay? And this is going on almost 80 years, 80, 90 years, somewhere in there. I don't know. I choose not to endorse math as a science. So there you go. I just want you to see this for all the reasons that I love film. Okay. Now, number 3, which is Battleship Potemkin, and number 2, which is Citizen Kane, those are real directors' films. Okay. These are the top directors' films of all time. If you want to be a director, those are the two that you should definitely understand why they are as good as they are. Okay. But African Queen, Duck Soup, and Wizard of Oz are all films that you should love if you even remotely love film. Okay? And I'm talking about remotely. I'm talking about like it's not even like it's a passing thing. Like, yeah, I like film. It's okay. It's got some good points. Hey, sometimes it's kind of funny, and sometimes I kind of like seeing Iron Man kick some ass. Not anymore. You want to see Iron Man? You're gonna need some flashlights and a shovel. Sorry. Man, Iron Man really got burnt out by the fourth Avengers. Oh, that's a good joke. Yes, that is the best Iron Man death joke of all time. He was just so burnt out by the end of the fourth Avengers. Yes, take that. I just made that one up on the spot. Can you believe it? It's like he's beyond. But regardless of my Iron Man jokes, hey, I'm trying to keep it within the realms of comedy. All right. Um, I do want you to see this film. And I do hope that if you do watch the series at all, this will be something that you will consider watching. I don't know where you will find it. It's probably on YouTube. It's probably on Vudu. It's probably on all kinds of channels. Just rent it and watch it for my sake, please. I mean, if you're not into love, which I understand, maybe you've had your heart broken a few times. Maybe love is not your thing. I get it. But comedy should always be your thing, whether you're in love, not in love, having a horrible day, having a great day. Comedy fits in everything. Hey, Jane. Yeah, Tommy. You know that good country feeling that you get when you watch comedy? I sure do. That was a good commercial for 1955, which I did not live in, but some reason know a lot about. But regardless, like I said, just go see, go see. Yeah, go out and see it. It's in theaters now. I really don't know what else to tell you. I mean, again, like I said, there are 3 films in my top 5 that are worth watching. Okay? So there should be no excuse not to watch these things. You're disappointing me, but more importantly, guys, you're disappointing yourself by not going to see these. Okay? This will give you a kind of idea of what classic film looks like, or what great film looks like. Okay? And again, I'm not talking about the director's ones. Look, I showed somebody Citizen Kane one time. It was an ex of mine. It took her about 5 minutes to say, turn off this crap. It's too boring. Okay? I get it. Citizen Kane, Battleship Potemkin, they're not for you. They're for me. I like directors, okay? And these are the best directed films of all time. So, I get it. Like, that's not your thing. But look at my wall. Look at that one right there. That's Mad Max Fury Road. I stole that from my brother-in-law's theater. Okay? I liberated it from his theater. This one is Wonder Woman. I bought that one. Okay, obviously, guys, I'm just like you. I'm just a normal guy. I do my normal stuff. I put my pants on one leg at a time. Except when I do, I make gold-plated records. Right? We seem to have gone off the deep end here a little bit, so let me reel it back. If you've never seen the Marx Brothers, there is a ton of stuff on YouTube about the Marx Brothers. They were truly one of the most funniest acts of all time. All right, they were actually brothers. There were four of them, but one of them played the straight man. So he had the kind of boring life. But you got Zeppo, Harpo, Chico, Groucho. I mean, and Groucho tells some of, in my personal opinion, the most funny and best stories of all time. If you really want to laugh, watch Groucho Marx tell stories, okay? Because it's just hilarious. I mean, they're always funny. That dude was so funny. The only guy that we had in relative comparison to him in our time was David Letterman. And that's it. And that's my personal opinion. I don't think there was anybody quite as funny as Groucho, but I think the only person that was really even remotely close was David Letterman. I really do. So again, there should be no excuse to not watch this film. And I want to hear what you think about this film, okay? Because I really do. Because I think, like, in my opinion, of all the top five, it's probably my personal kind of favorite of the top five because I love comedy. And that's why it's so important that there's so many of them in my top 100. Because I really do think comedy is important to life. I think just as drama is important to understand ourselves, comedy is important to release ourselves from ourselves. So we're not in the shackles of ourselves. Being ourselves. All right, but anyway, go see this movie. Go rent it on Vudu. I don't know where it's at, but find it. Do your homework. I've done mine. I've been out here from the beginning telling you what you should watch, and if you can't do it now, then you don't respect Cigarette Burns film series. And that's a statement, okay? Because if you don't respect Cigarette Burns film series, then you're not respecting yourself, you're not respecting me, and you're not respecting YouTube that puts this on for you with limited commercial interruptions, okay? This is so important to you that I can't stress. Like, if you don't see this, you'll probably never live a full life. You'll probably wonder always, what would have happened if I had seen Duck Soup? Would it have changed my life? And the answer is yes, it would have. There's no question. I don't even think that it should be thought of as a question. It's an answer. And yes, that's the answer. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that. Enjoy Duck Soup. Please feel free to comment. And until then, Alviva Zin.